A new part about the annuities. And the annuity means amount of money which is similar or unsimilar, but it's paid on a regular duration. As example, $100 is paid every 1 month. $200 paid every 2 months. So you go to the bank, as example, you deposit $100 every 1 month, or you go to the bank and deposit $200 every 2 months, or 3 months quarterly, or semi-annually every 6 months. The period is stable, is equal. The amount, it might be equal or might be changed. We call this annuities ANNUITY for one, and annuities ANNUITIS for a group of annuities. Okay, now I will just show you here how we can differentiate between each of them. When we say ordinary, ordinary means at the end of the period. And on the ordinary, simple means it is equal, like here. Simple, it is equal. Okay, how about the general? Ordinary, general annuity, like this here, that will be at the end of each period, and it is not equal. So it is not equal. So when it is general, it's not equal. When it is simple, it is equal. Means, as example, $100, the $100 goes on. It doesn't change. Here, general means that it's changing. As example, I will deposit $100 for 3 years. Then I will start to deposit $500 for 5 years, and so on. So we have simple annuity due, we have general annuity due. Also, the due is in the beginning of the period. What is the meaning of end of the period and beginning of the period? Actually, the end of the period, if I tell you, Sam deposit $100 at the end of every month for 1 year. So this is at the end. So this is ordinary. As long as it's at the end, then it is ordinary. But if I tell you, Sam deposited $100 at the beginning or at the start of each month, that means it's a due. That means it's a due. So we have ordinary means at the end of the period, due that the deposit in the start or the beginning of the period. And of course, the word simple means it's similar, and the word general means it is not similar. As example, you deposit $100 for 3 years, then you start to deposit $100 for 5 years, and so on. This is the difference between the simple and non-simple, or like we said here, general, which is not simple, which is not regular, not similar in the amount. The amount of the deposit is not similar. Okay. Now let's go here and see what we are for. Let me just give an example for the similar annuities and the unsimilar annuities. If I said Sam deposited, and let me make the handwriting is let it be larger than this so everybody can see. Sam deposited $100, of course, every month or at the end of every month for 3 years. So here at the deposit 100, it's simple. It's simple. Then it is ordinary. Why it is ordinary? Because it's at the end of every period. So it's simple, and simple because it's similar, 100, and ordinary because at the end of each period of time. This is the way it is. Let us go back and see from our notes. Here we go. So here, as you see here, simple because it's similar, equal, and at the end, so it is ordinary. But if I say like this, I will take the same sentence back, Control and C, and I will say here, Sam deposited $100 and at the beginning, BEGINNING, at the beginning of every month for 3 years. Then $200 at the beginning of every month. See, $200 at the beginning of each month, at the beginning of every month for other 2 years. Here it is not simple. It is not simple here. Okay, so here when you come to see it, let's see here, it is not equal, so it is general. So it is general. I will change the word simple with the word general. And ordinary, no, it is due. Why? Because it is at the beginning, so it is due. As long as it's at the beginning, like you see here, here we say at the beginning, then it is due. So this is the difference between simple and due. Simple means amount which doesn't change, it's the same. So $100 means all the way up $100. At the end means that it is ordinary. So here 100 and here ordinary because of at the end. At the end, let us give it another color. Okay, at the end, then it is ordinary, like we see here. But here, it is changing. So it was $100 for first years, and after that became $200 at the beginning of every month for other 2 years. So this is, we cannot say it is due, and it is general. So general and due. General and due. General because it changed, and due because it is at the beginning of every period of time. This was a start about what do we mean by ordinary and due, and this is the meaning of the annuities. And we'll watch now, we'll see now another example for the annuities, but we'll use table 1, or we'll use how much it is now. We'll get this amount of money. The future value of 4 payments ordinary simple annuity. So the future value of 4 simple annuities. This is an example about how it works. So here, if the deposit is for 4 years, if we say that the payment, 10,000 payment of ordinary, we know now the word ordinary means at the end of each. Simple means it doesn't change. Yes, it's 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. It didn't change. And the period of time is also regular. For the ordinary, it's every 1 year. Here it is for every 1 year, and with compound interest. The compound interest here is 4%. The compound interest is 4%. So the first 1,000 here is at the beginning of the first year. At the beginning of the first year means at the start of the second year. How long it will stay in the bank? This 1,000 will stay in the bank for 1 year. So the power here is 1%. Then this one, n equals 1. Here it is, equals 1. So it is 1,000 multiplied by 1.04, because we said when you get the interest, let me show you how to get the interest. We said the interest will equal the principal multiplied by the rate multiplied by the time. So here, we make it in capital. Interest will equal principals time, the rate multiplied by the rate multiplied by the time. Cool, that's fine. And we said that the sum will equal, all the future value will equal the present value multiplied by 1 plus or if you remember, guys, when we said on the start itself, when we talk about the simple interest and the compound interest, we're talking about the, and this is power the time, or n, or the number of years, or the number of annuities. So here, when we calculate this, let's go back to the example. The P is 1,000, so a future value for the first amount, which is stayed in the bank for one year. This is the present. P is 1,000. Then open a bracket, 1 plus 0.04, 4%. And that should be power 1. Power 1 means 1 year, you don't write it. So the power 1 is the same, power 1. But I will just write it to explain, to show it in a more better. So this will be 1,000 times 1,000 multiplied by, here we go, 1.04, and that will give me, will equals 1,040. Okay, and that's what's exactly shown up here. I will show it to you right now. That's what's shown up here. If you can see here now, right now, 1,000 times 1.04, because this is stayed in the bank. The third stayed for the bank for 1 year. Fourth one, it stayed for 0. This one, because it's the end of the 4th year, which means that it didn't stay in the bank anything. Like as example, at the end of each period means at the end of the 1st year, at the end of the 2nd year, at the end of the 3rd year, and this is at the end of the 4th year. If you see here, at the end of the 4th year, it didn't take any time in the bank. For that reason, it is the same. It's 1,000 only. Now this, the third one, stayed in the bank for the period from 3 into 4, which stayed this period of time. This period of time from 3 into 4, from 3 into 4. So stayed n is 1. That's what I calculated right now here. So it will be equals 1. Okay. How about if the one which stayed in the 2nd year? So the first one in the beginning of the 1st year, at the end of the 1st year, the second one at the end of the 2nd year. So they are all 4 years. If you put 1,000 at the end of the 2nd year, till the 4th year, how long? 2 years. 2 years. So here it will be 1,000 multiplied by 1 exactly, but the t will be, the power will be 2. Likewise, the 1,000 here at the end of the 1st year stayed in the bank for 3 years, because this is 1 year, this is 1 year, this is 1 year. From 1 to 2, that's 1 year. From 2 to 3, that's another year. From 3 to 4, that's the 3rd year. So n here will equal 3. So I will multiply the principal, multiply by 1 plus the interest rate, power 3. Here, in this one, I will say 1,000 multiplied by 1 plus the interest rate, multiplied by the n, or the time, or the t, is 2. The first one stayed for the bank for power 1. Power 1 is the same. So 104 power 1 is 104. This one stayed nothing in the bank because he deposited at the end of the 4th year. So it didn't stop for 1 minute. So now I will add them up. When I calculate them, I will add them up. All together will be, the future value will be 4246.46. And here, how we get it? This is the first 1,000. It is here. Then this is 1,000 multiplied by 1.04 for the 2nd year here. And this is 1,000 multiplied by 1.04 power 2. That's 1. This is the 1. Then 1,000 multiplied by 1.04 power 3. So the future value for the annuity will equals 1,000 plus 1,040, which is this one, is 1,040, plus 1,081.60, which is this one. Then 1,124.864, which is this amount. We add them up together, it will give me 4,246.42. Okay, so I can calculate the interest. Yes, I can calculate the interest. How much is the interest then? Here I will take this number. Then I will say the interest alone interest alone, interest will equal the future value minus the principal. So this will equal the interest will equal the future value is this number which we had, and I will just enlarge it so that you guys can see it properly, minus the principal is how much? 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000. Here it is, 1,000 plus the second 1,000, the origin of the money or the origin of the deposit, plus 1,000 plus 1,000. So when you do this, that means this amount of money, I will take it back like this, Control and C. This amount of money, Control and V, will equal minus 4,000. That will be 4,000. So that will equal 246, this number. Let me take it, then I will remove the 4. Control and V, and here it is. It will equal 246.4. This is the interest only for this amount of money. This should be the interest only for this amount of money. That is how to do this example. It shows you what the meaning of annuity and how to deal with the annuity. That is for the moment. We'll go to the next part.